Now, a lot that's happening globally, a lot of commentary that comes in between US and China. But today, the indication that we have from the Asian markets, that's going to be key as well. Positive start is what the Asian market right now is on. Hang Seng, 1% uptick. Taiwan Index, 0.6% of uptick. Whether you look at ASX 200, Nikkei, Shanghai, all of them are managing to hold on to the green. More than 0.5% of gains for most of these indices. Now look at the Nifty implied open. What's the indication coming in here today? That's also a positive start right now. 64 points uptick that we are seeing coming in for the Nifty implied open. But a lot of cues on the global front, right? So how is that going to be impacting more in terms of our Indian markets? What should we be keeping an eye out on? We have a team of research here to set you up for trade, tell you which are the important stocks to watch out for, as well as what is going to be happening in the world of F&O. We have Gaurav as well as Sudarshan here, but before I go to them, let me set you all up for trade and what we are keeping an eye out on. Given that US markets, they managed to actually close very mixed. While we saw S&P 500 and NASDAQ, that closed lower. We had Dow Jones that was gaining in the trading session yesterday. Obviously, like I said, there was a lot of talks that happened between US and China as well. Donald Trump criticized China for not buying US soybean, threatened China with cooking oil embargoes over this soybean issue. And Chinese Commerce Ministry also said that they will be banning dealings with Chinese companies with 5 US subsidiaries of South Korean shipbuilder. So concerns came in on that front. Now, FIIs in our Indian market, what did they do? Actually, they continue to be sellers. Second consecutive day that FIIs were sellers in our markets, while DIIs were buyers for around 3,661 crore rupees. Other than that, today what we're keeping an eye out on in terms of cues, we have RBI minutes, trade balance data on the Indian front that we'll keep an eye out on. Welspun Enterprises fundraise plan is there. A lot of results that are expected today. Axis Bank, Angel One, HDB Financial Services, HDFC AMC, HDFC Life Insurance, KEI, Muthoot, among some of the names that will be reporting numbers. IT companies, keep an eye out on that. Persistent as well as Tech Mahindra will be reacting to their Q2 FY26 numbers that they reported yesterday post-market hours. Hyundai Motors, their first annual investor meet, so keep an eye out on that. When you look at Indian markets versus the Asian markets yesterday, they were slightly better. So you know that performance was slightly better. Today, will we outperform these Asian markets will be key to watch out for. And Nifty implied open, like I mentioned, is indicating a positive start, given that Nifty ended about the 20-day as well as the 50-day exponential moving average yesterday. But let's move on to Gaurav, who's here to tell us what are the important stocks to watch out for in today's trading session.
Well, first let's talk about Tech Mahindra, because the numbers, when we look at it, margins actually improved to 12.1% versus our own estimates of 11.7%. But at the same time, net profit that increased just by 4.8% on a year-on-year basis, and it was a little lower than what we were estimating. Persistent System, here we saw net profit increasing at around 471 crores now, and margins also expanded to 16.3%. Thyrocare, when we look at this stock, net profit that increased almost by 79% on a year-on-year basis, and at the same time margins also improved. Let's not forget, company is going to issue bonus share in the ratio of 2:1. Cyan DLM, when we look at it, it was actually a little bit of weak number because net profit, now even if that has doubled, revenue that declined almost by 20% on a year-on-year basis. Sula Vineyard came up with the Q2 updates. When we look at it, net revenue declined almost by 1.1%, while their own brand revenue that declined almost by 2.5% on a year-on-year basis. Kolte Patil also came up with the update where they mentioned the sales value that has declined almost by 13%, while sales volume declined almost by 17% on a year-on-year basis. Apart from that, let's also focus on Mishra Dhatu, because company has secured an order for 306 crores. Keystone Realtors, now this is also on focus, and the reason being that promoter is likely to sell around 3.6% stake via offer for sell, and the share price is going to be somewhere around 550 rupees per share. And lastly, let's also not forget about AkzoNobel, because JSW Paints, now they have launched their open offer to acquire 26% of the equity at a price of 3,231 rupees a piece. So definitely watching out on all these counters in a day-to-day.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Gaurav. But let's finally go across to Sudarshan, who's here to tell us what to watch out for in the world of F&O. Good morning, Sudarshan.
Good morning, Vinny. So we are in a congestion zone between 25,200 to 25,300. Nifty continues to see selling and with heavy call writing. And one sector, that is the IT, despite the good earnings that we have seen from HCL Tech, even Persistent, even TCS was like inline set of earnings, IT stocks have not been seeing any interest as far as buying is concerned. For today, following like a positive global cues, there was a huge recovery in the Dow Jones and S&P as well as Nasdaq that we have seen overnight. We are seeing that GIFT Nifty is indicating a start with gain of around 70 to 80 points for our market. But we'll have to see if we really manage to hold on to levels above 25,200. That would be very important. Now coming to the flows front, both on the futures as well as in the cash market, we continue to see that FI remains on the remains on the short side. Yesterday also in the cash market, FI have sold more than rupees 1,500 crore. In the index futures too, they have sold more than rupees 1,600 crore, and they have built more positions towards short side and added more than 9,000 contracts on the short side. Now come to the options data. Before I talk about the options data, PCR put call ratio has fallen to 0.82 from the level of 1.06. So it indicates the huge call writing that we are seeing on the levels of around 25,200 as well as 25,300. 25,200 has seen an increase in the open interest by 40 lakh shares with a fall in the premium to 124. 25,300 has seen a similar move. But in contrary, for put options, 25,100 and 24,800 have seen an increase in the open interest, but also premium has increased for both these options. So support for Nifty remains around 25,000, resistance 25,350. For Nifty Bank, support will be 56,200 and resistance will be 57,000. Two stocks remain in the band, Saman Capital and RBL Bank. Some of the stocks have been seeing fresh longs, and MCX, Ireda, these two stocks are seeing fresh longs, and one stock that I have taken, Piramal Pharma, is seeing fresh shorts.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Surely we'll be keeping an eye out on all those cues in the world of FNO. But